Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to August, right? August 1st, 2025. Holy guacamole. Welcome everybody. Who needs a weekend? I'd love to do this 7 days a week. I love doing this, Dave. And the correction is done, right? Looks like it, according to Bitcoin. Apple popping on earnings. The story here was I knew they would beat earnings. They always they sandbag earnings. Like it's the rare case where they don't exceed the earnings estimates. They do. They're very good at making sure the analysts are thinking that they're gonna, just do ho hum and then coming in and beating them. It's very classic kind of Apple behavior. They've done that for as long as I've been trading, and my niece throwing out the hearts today. Thank you so much. And that's just kind of the game for Apple. But the big thing they said, creating this pop here, potential pop, the big thing they said, regain strength in Chinese demand for iPhones. That's kind of been weighing on them right there. But no big AI plans. So yesterday I mentioned if you were up on that hedge, you might want to close it if you like that kind of gain. For me, it's a hedge looking for the bigger potential correction. This makes no difference to me. We could still go up here. That's fine. That's why I bought December and not August or September for the hedge. So it's just a long-term play thing. Now, Amazon, that's not looking so hot right there. Weak customer demand. Yikes. So that one can definitely put some down pressure in the market. Looking at old pal NASDAQ here. Well, down below the 1 hour, into the 4. Remember yesterday? I mean, maybe you stuck around, maybe you didn't. I do apologize for those of you that might be new. I'm my team ran an AI on my channel content here and there, and I guess the takeaway summary is I talk to my audience like you're my trading buddies, and I just kind of expect you already kind of have some of the basics down, even though I share a lot of what I'm doing and try to, help you be better at this. I still learn stuff all the time, right? So yesterday, as I was wrapping up, I mentioned that we might go down and visit the 4 hour. That's exactly where we went. So this is kind of the last line here. If we don't bounce here, the daily comes into play. Or even if we do bounce here, we may come up, struggle at the 618, and come visit the daily. So this is an important. So far, it's a very important correction. 2 days down, right to the 4 hour. Now, I mentioned we need it. We need to go visit it. That daily, way on down there. This is where the 4 hour was. So now, here's the daily. We need to go visit it. But it doesn't have to happen right away. I mean, you see over here, these are the biggest candles we've had since right back here, since June. July, pretty muted month. Be careful. Yeah, it's just crazy, the price action here. Now we look at as we come into the open here in a few minutes. Even with that pullback yesterday, we're still closed above the 20-day. That made 67 days above that 20-day moving average. This is currently setting the record for the 21st century. Long story short, since the year 2000. And apparently my headphones need to be returned on because they're not muting my phone. There we go. Let's see if I can mute my phone. All right. So that's kind of what we're working with here. Now, interesting, right here, this baby did a dip, big dip. A few people getting really concerned. This drug, all the crypto names down last night. Remember, even on something like this, it will not have the power to buck Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is the ocean that floats or sinks all the boat. Like, all the boats are going to go with it, right? We're not going to just suddenly outperform Bitcoin with something like this. It just, it's wishful thinking, but it's not going to happen. All right, we're not breaking through support here this morning. Support right there, as I mentioned yesterday. Now, if you thought earnings were going to be the catalyst, well, we already know how many Bitcoins they own, right? I mean, it's in the bubble down here. In the bubble down here. Unfortunately, when you click the bubble, it didn't pop it up, but let's see if I can pull it over and make it bigger. And there you go. I mean, so 628,000. They're gunning for 1 million before the end of the year. Like, that's their goal, is to somehow acquire 1 million Bitcoins. Basically 5% of the entire supply. You could say that's more like, 20% of the liquid supply, or potentially liquid supply. And we have a little over 1 million coins that haven't been mined out yet. Won't be mined out for like 150 years completely. So there you go. They spent $2.5 billion to buy 21,000 at 117,000. So those coins currently underwater. We'll see more and more of this chop as we get to the top. Coin. Looky. I mentioned that we retested the vicinity, but we still had the potential to really fully test in here, and that's what we're doing. It's not a bounce till it's a bounce. Otherwise, it's a knife catch, and knife catches can break support, keep going down, and keep going down. So I haven't bought anything, I haven't added anything on Coinbase. All right, I gave you lots of, if you think it's going to go up, you can play this way or that way. But, hey, we are fully testing support, and we'll see what happens. Like, so far, nothing horrible is going on. I sold those 64.50s for today, and it looks like it's going to be a good play unless we get really sour here really quickly. Right there. So far, so good. Welcome all the channel members. David, Rob, Jerry, Don, Svenborn, Frank, Andrew, Dan, Goose, Lieutenant Colonel, good to see you. Sergio, Diane, Arturo, Donald, Mary, Logan, Jason, Ted, Will, Kimberly, my favorite subscriber with my niece in the house today. Jason, Sledge, Captain Sledge, Hugh, good to see everybody. I say meow all the time because Super Troopers. Right, meow. Hey, Pauline. And gotta be careful here. Now, we're hunting a top on Bitcoin, all right? I believe we still have higher to go. That does not mean that we will go higher. I still believe, I believe we have higher to go. Haven't minced words about it. The target has been the target. I've talked about this target since, if you've been hanging out with me, I've been talking about the $157,000 target since we made the $115,700 blow back here, roughly. It depends on which chart you look at, but there was support right there. Typically, Bitcoin has gone 10x to 20x the crypto winter low on the next summer. Now, we have some other tools that help us get a little closer, but that's just a general target zone. So 10x, that low, puts us at 157,000. That's why we've got this big target up here. Now, doing the fib lines, 1618. Never not done an expansion where we didn't hit the 1618. So that's up there at about 170. That's why we get from 150 to 170 as my conservative kind of primary target zone. And we could come up short. That's just a sad reality of the market. The market doesn't have to do anything at all. There's no have to do anything. We will eventually correct. We will eventually, we don't ever have to go higher. Like we will eventually correct. Like any trend will eventually correct. More than likely, unless we're going to zero on a downtrend. So even severe going out of business trends tend to have some little buys in there. The beauty of Bitcoin, this is all sentiment. 100% human-driven emotions and sentiment are right here. All right, this is just straight up. One human is willing to pay $115,600 to buy a Bitcoin from another human. That's the only truth in the market. Price and volume. How many you got? What are you willing to spend for it? All right, that's pretty much everything in the market. Like the price and volume. How much you got and how much you willing to spend. If you ever thought the market was anything else than that, that's why I use technical analysis. All right, that's why do I just watch charts? Why do I not talk about all the fundamentals and the this and the that and the others? Because the only two truths, price and volume. I don't even keep volume on the chart because I feel like price is the ultimate truth. So that's what we got. Support down here. Resistance up here. That's a big range. I know. If we can get through resistance, we can look at our bigger targets. I'm going to take this off the chart now because it don't matter that much to me. There you go. Now you're willing to sell for that price, but is there a buyer at that price? Greed, fear and greed comes into play too. Fear, you're going to lose all your money. Greed, you want to sell for the highest price. These are all human emotions. So they all play into all of this, right? Why does price suddenly do a giant hammer candle? Because there's fear. I want to, and there's greed. I want to sell. I want to lock in this price right now. And then people get scared and they start selling like, oh, shoot, that was the top. It's very, very real for a lot of people. I'm getting all sorts of alerts. Welcome to the show. We'll see. Do we close below that 20-day? We dip below, but do we close above or do we close down here? Does this get worse? Do we go down to the daily? That's the next line of support as we drop through the 4 hour. Now the 4 hour on the cash is way down here. 6,000. 4 hour on the futures is right where we are. Big difference there. All right. Know what you're watching. That's one big fast move down so far. Not really much subwaves to it. Can be 5 down. Possible. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this could extend even further down. So we have, this structure all the way down was in 5-wave structures. Be careful. That can start a new trend. And this correction, probably not. While it might be done here, this is kind of the structure of something that might get a 3-wave up and something more down. So you got to be careful, right? Upside resistance sitting at 6,400 on SPX right now. Get all the words out of my mouth. See the 5-wave structure here too. We've got that high, we've got this low. 23.5. Why do I look at the futures? Because they trade 23 hours a day, 6 days a week. The only day we don't get any price action here on futures is Saturdays. So that'll be the resistance zone going higher. Today is supposed to be the tariff day. We'll see what happens. Do tariffs cause more downside? Now there is coming into play lowest low day. We don't typically bottom on a Friday. All right. Market doesn't typically bottom on a Friday. So we look at this price action here. Now, the only caveat to that is we were just right here 2 weeks ago. All right, so this is not like a big major bottom in the market. We may see another dip Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Just throwing that out there. Usually we don't bottom on a Friday, but there's plenty of cases. You can go back through here and find plenty of cases where that doesn't hold the mustard. So anyway, look at the calendar. Relatively benign for the next little bit here. Relatively benign. Welcome to August. Get the average hourly earnings. We get the non-farm employment. We get the unemployment rate. All holding in there. ISM, blah, blah, blah. Man. You really think they did all the jobs for July? You really think the government stayed up all night and cranked these numbers out right here based on all of July through midnight last night on the West Coast? Yeah, right. Ain't no way. These are just made up numbers. They just educated wild guessed those right there. They're just made up. Dylan. This is a downtrend. New jobs coming in light. I don't know where all those jobs are that Trump's talking about. Not showing up there. Next week. Monday, benign. Tuesday, benign. Wednesday, benign. Thursday, benign. Yeah, so no real economic news next week at all. Just be earnings. And we're already through most of the biggest earnings. The following week we have CPI on Tuesday. Well, that's interesting. Where's PPI? PPI. But then retail sales is not with it. There's retail sales Friday. Well, that's interesting. I wonder why they bumped that up. Skip Wednesday. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Should be interesting. Should be interesting. I guess before we talk any trades, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Be careful out there. So, if you need personal financial advice, hire and consult that financial advisor, which is not what I'm doing. That would be the next level of support if we get below this right there. So, where's your line in the sand? All these lows we had for nearly 2 weeks. Starting out July. If we push through that, your target is right down here. Oh, baby. I'm going to look at my look at my put spread. Go daddy. So I don't take many bearish trades, but there's a few I got. Go daddy. Bros. Bearish on that one. I took DPZ, but due to its sideways nature, I closed it, but it's likely to come on down. This is taking longer than I can stay solvent in the position, so I booked profit when it was there. Likely to take a trip down. Could be pretty severe. Costco, another one I've got a short on. Actually have a spread on this baby. Looking for a bigger drop here. Just churning at the moment. We may come up, bounce off that roadmap line before we take something more severe. So those are the ones I'm kind of watching right now. Bros. GDDY. Beautiful. Beautiful right there. Now, the bullish list, I've been going through this kind of at the end. I rearranged it a little bit to put my more favorite tickers on the top. You know, somebody said in the last couple of days that it seemed kind of random the way I put the tickers on there. Yeah, they were in there based on the order I found them. I've been taking notes manually, and I just went through my notes and added them to the list, so they were added on that way. So I put the more favorite ones toward the top now, and everything else toward the bottom. More favorite, meaning these are ones I've been trading in the 50K challenge. So if you want more update on that, hang around to the end. I'll probably circle back and talk more about that. Looking at gold, getting a little pop. Looking on the lower time frames. Be very careful right here. Very careful. Look at that, you're like, ooh, that looks bullish, but maybe that's not the right one to be looking at. Because this is the low, this is the first move up, this is the retrace. Now the story changes a little bit different, right? This is the origin point. Here's the potential A. Here's the potential B. Here's the potential C. Right in that zone right there. Continuation lower, trend down, continuation. Got to be careful. Always zoom out, find the low that matters. Now, sure, it's possible. That was it. Like, that's the end, and we go higher. It's possible. So Bitcoin, we already talked about. Now, we talked about a little bit. There's one thing here that concerns me. That would be the fact that this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'd be like, oh, let's 5 down. But the problem here, overlap. And these are very proportional, like these moves, very proportional. So that leaves us with my least favorite structure, a diagonal. And that's the first move off of that high. So it'd be a leading diagonal, usually followed by a deep retrace somewhere in the 786 to 88.6 area, possibly even up just shy of the prior high. Could go, slightly possible, not likely, but possible we go up here above the prior high and then get a continuation move that comes down to a lower low, and that all be part of all one big correction. So this price action right there does concern me with the structure that we've built. And this is full of 3-wave moves, like 3-wave up, 3-wave down, 3-wave up in there. I think that was the high. And then 3-wave down. So 3, lots of threes. You see it's very choppy in here, overlapping. That's all kind of corrective type stuff. And there's another diagonal in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Deep retrace, continuation. So that might be what we see here. 5 down, that's part of a 5 down. Deep retrace, we might get a deep retrace and then get one more flush. So just keep on your toes here for Bitcoin. This could continue through later in August. Ether just kind of hitting the target there. Like first move down, retrace, next move down, bottoming in a spot that might be the right spot. As always, nothing has to do anything. That first move, absolutely beautiful correction. We hit that right on the head. Doesn't mean we can't go on down in here deeper, but we're already touching it. So potential for reversal is set up on this one. All right. Oh, update. So, yeah, I mentioned that viewership was down a little bit, and I've been digging into it. I figured out it's not about content or anything like that. It's what I figured out. 99% sure has to do with the fact that the publisher was putting out SMSs for a lot of my events, including live streams, and Google recently, the past few months, has, actually it's been like past 9 months, they've been ramping up their spam cutting efforts across their ecosystem. They built new spam identifying and blocking tools into their SMS app, Google Messages. And I'm sure Apple does a similar thing. They just don't talk about it publicly. But in the update for Android, I was reading about their new spam attacking efforts using AI. And lo and behold, I had loaded the SMS app on my own phone to look at it, and I had quarantine messages from my publisher. It just didn't even show it to me. It was in this whole quarantine area in my phone that you have to click and click and click to get there. You can't just, it's not like a trash folder or a spam folder. It's kind of hidden. And, safety and protection. So probably the missing viewers are those. I do appreciate everybody that's here and subscribed. Thank you. Especially the channel members. Thank you. Thank you. Family thanks you for being a supporter. So could go deeper. We'll see on NKD. Definitely testing back in the top of the box. It's kind of what I thought we would do. This was close enough, but turned up and potential to go just a bit deeper here. Global liquidity indicator, in case you're not up on what I use this for. There is possibility that we come a little bit deeper down in here. That would be an A, B, C, and we may bottom in the vicinity of that, which would make sense. Then if we turn higher and break out, we're still trying to break through last July's high. If we do, probably going higher. If we don't, this may be the correction we're looking for. Dollar, guess what? Sometimes it's just fantasy. I tell you what, blows my mind sometimes when, even remember where I drew the bearish spot right there for the dollar, bullish for the dollar. If this doesn't find support right here, we're already overlapping. Probably going to make a lower low than we made back here coming into July. The overlap makes it, we're already tipping the odds. We're like probably 65-45 or 65-35. Do my math right. 65-35. Yeah, we'll see. Could be 55-45. Need more confirmations. All right, just overlapping. That starts, tipping me from being bullish to being more bearish on the bias. But that doesn't negate turning around and going and just leaving a muddy, messy pattern. So it's very rare that bullish things get overlap with the first move. So hitting here, less likely, has dropped in probability. Making a new lower low than early July has increased in probability with this drop in the dollar today. Apple, guess what? Already turning more bearish. Guess whose hedge is starting to work out? Russell. We didn't talk about this one. Looky, looky, looky. Already down to the vicinity of the daily roadmap line. Look at that. Why was I more bearish on IWM than anything else? Look at that big performance to the downside. Bros is going on down. Come on, bros. So things can get really spicy below the roadmap line right here. Hey, thank you, David, for the super chat. This thing gets really spicy below 180. That's where we're sitting. If we get below that, could go to 150. I'll take it. I'll take it. CL, look at this. Turn it down off of the resistance. It's not like if we bust through. So That's confirming my bearish bias. 1, 2, 3. Resistance. Bust through here. Another confirmation. Get through here. Really start confirming. I've been telling y'all for, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I don't know. However many weeks. We're probably going to 50. It's just a matter of when it starts. Gold, be careful. This can turn on you like a wild critter. Right, this looks like got this nested potential downside cooking here. Be careful. Bitcoin. Turn a little more bearish here. Pushing back into the low. So supports. Just run up through here. We're already below this probably. Yeah, well below it. 4 hour. Well below it. Daily. Long way down. This is what happens when you get over the skis here. We can do a bigger correction. I've been warning about that for that potential. It's been sitting out here. We tagged that one. We can come back. Like this may have been the breakout of this consolidation. Broke out, ran out of airspeed, came back down. Watch for the retest. Amazon going for that daily roadmap line test of supports. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Google moving down in sympathy. Support down here, 174. If we get below that, watch out below. Meta went for the touch, came up shy. Couldn't get the glory. This can still be A, B, C proportions. It may just make a double bottom. Microsoft. That's basically, I'm going to call that a hit. Pretty much. I mean, pow. Roadmap line supports. Be careful. This can turn vicious. Doesn't have to, but we can find support at the breakout. Or we can find support here. We can find support here. We can find support here. Like these are all support levels coming down. Fib letter, it's like hitting your head on the stairs on the way down. And by the time we get here, that roadmap line may be at the breakout. This one also hitting the, I said for, gosh, however many weeks, we might need to poke into that 176, 177 area. We went a little higher. And then same thing as Microsoft. Potential to come on down and on down and on down. Yet again, be careful. Tesla. I see the question, are you bearish, Tesla? It's not really bearish. I do expect it to come down and test support. I mean, short-term bearish, but yeah, I sold a 350 against shares I have. We can get down in here. I'll probably sell some puts on TSLL. That thing has premium for days. Netflix holding up pretty well today so far. Probably on a path for the roadmap line, but probably not. May or may not do it today. Probably not, but there you go. All right. So I go pull everything moving up $2 or more, put it on the gainers list, down $2 or more, put it on the decliners list. The decliners list is like 160 tickers or something like that. I think the gainers list was like 30. So not a lot of stuff on the gainers, although look at Reddit. Boom. If it can stick this, probably going to take a trip up. This was a cautionary zone. If we can stick that pop. If we don't, if we start fizzling, roadmap supports back at 130, and we get below that, 80. Very real. Not extremely bearish on this at the moment. It is still in this zone of ambiguity. First move up, A, retrace, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C, and that's in that zone where I talk about it being a corrective zone. And we get continuation. First move down, second move down, continuation. Very possible right here. Another thing to look at right here, the first move of the move and the last move of the move almost being equal. Remove some fib lines there. So I'm talking about this move. That would be the 1, the 2, 3, the 4, and the 5 right there. A lot of times we see the move for 1 equal to the move of 5 on a log scale. So that first move that we had in there, that first move, right? Come on now. Drawing tool. Activate. From this low to this high, that first move. And this finality move right here, almost equal. That classic C wave action is impulsive with a 5 wave. That could be the end. See this one over here, overlap, leading diagonal, fast correction. So maybe that was a W, X, and a Y instead of a C. Doesn't matter to me. Either way, it's corrective. A wave, B wave, C wave. Fig, brand new ticker. Be careful. 95% chance we're going to make a lower low, lower than 85. Sometime between now and forever. 95% of stuff starts out with a corrective pattern on IPO. If you're like, oh, I missed it, just wait. You'll get your chance to pick it up. 95% of the time, we see prices below the IPO price. IRTC. Bright spot in a dim world today. I'd be careful though, it's getting up there. Yeah. We'd be careful. Right for a pullback on that one. UTHR. $8 off the low does not look like a giant move here. Starting to look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down without overlap. This could be the start of something new to the downside here. Eli Lilly just churning, burning. First move up, retrace. Next move up, sloppy. As long as we're holding high or low, gunning for this retest of the downtrend of highs. If we can get through it, that sets us up for bullish action. What's the trade right now? For me, they're in one. FSLR, potentially turning bullish. I really like this. I like this. Like this. It's the kind of stuff I look for right here. Retesting. If we can actually break out, high probability to go right up on up here. And that gets us up into this. And if we can break through that, continuation 352. Actually looking pretty good. And as I mentioned, since they're sunsetting all the solar junk at the end of the year, we might see all the project and stuff get pulled forward, spending get pulled forward, and this actually perform at least for for a few months. KMB, the rare fundamental reason that I might consider something. Kimberly Clark, man, that is nasty. Where's the trend? Yeah, I don't see one. Sideways. MVT, pushing on up, 92 targets. Might come up short. TLD, watch out for the retrace. TLTD. What the heck is this? Flex shares, Morningstar, developed markets. Was popping, now it's dropping. GDXU, Shiny, Nugget, Leverage Gold stuff, JNUG, AEM, watch for the correction. FLGT. I don't chase momentum like I just, I don't bet against it either, though. That's why I expect a retrace on AEM, JNUG, Nugget, Shiny, GDX. I expect a retrace, but I'm not really chasing a retrace at this point. FGLT up into the roadmap line from underneath. If we reject, we're going lower. Toyota Motors. Ooh. Bleeding back down pretty fast. Couldn't break through the prior highs. That was a beautiful pop it did, but not been able to hold it so far. So that low, this high. Looking for support right where we are. That low. Just run the fib line. That low, that high. That retrace. Hold in this vicinity. Turn it and burn it. If we don't, going back to the lows. We're back here in April. Garbage. Garbage. And that's gold. Coinbase. Ouch. Well, guess what happens next if we don't turn this around immediately? I believe I talked about that being a level we could go visit. Sets up the next bounce. That high, that low. This one played out. Changes the dynamics a little bit though. Because now the 618, the 1618 doesn't actually touch, it's still in the vicinity, but it's not overlapped with that 615 area. I mean, it could be depending on where we make the bottom. Be careful. We're probably coming back to retest this consolidation zone. Would be my guess. Could prove to be some weakness. Even though beat on the top, missed on the bottom. Beat on earnings, missed on revenue. Ferrari. Continued weakness. That was 3 up. That could be back to a... B waves can exceed the start point. That's the weird thing here. So this could have been a B since we had 1, 2, 3. Now we're starting something more vicious that could go further down. GE Veranova. Yeah, this can experience a large 200-point correction. Has that kind of potential right now. GS can experience almost 100, 80, 90% or 80 or 90 point correction after tagging that. We want to see this hold the breakouts and go higher. What we want to see, but if we get below that, down in here, TLN, rocking and rolling, baby. 474, but roadmap line 248. FLR, yikes. Could, as briefed, might take a turn back down to the roadmap line right there, back to the breakout. That'd be another, if we come down there and hold it, that's an opportunity to get in if you have no exposure. I talked about getting back, like I got out over here, talked about getting back in at 30. I did not. Maybe I should have. Would have been a heck of a move. Heck of a move. There's the low. Here's the high. Looking for support right where we are. Bulls. I can go pretty vicious. 150 LU. Yeah, a lot of these were over their ski tips, so going up forever. Narrative. Be careful. EMN. Yikes. Eastman might go heading back to the COVID lows. Wow. Big picture. That's 1, 2. We're in the vicinity of where we could bottom, but this can come all the way down to 51. Still hold it. But if we start below that, yikes. Restoration hardware. Yeah, we're just grinding here. Grind. This is starting to be an overlapping price action that I don't care for. I would be that if I was in that or looking at that, that would start tingling my spidey senses a little bit. Not too keen on the fact that these pushes and these retraces are overlapping in this nature. Now we can continue in this channel indefinitely. We can keep doing that. It's just not very predictable price action. Tends to lead to something a little more dangerous. Like first move down, second move down. FUTU. Back to the roadmap line 110. MSCR. This can hit the roadmap line if you're not prepared. We're going to get more correction in. Spotify holding up really well at the roadmap line, but we haven't touched it yet. Still come up shy. Still got some downside room there. Dave. Hey, Dave. First move down, retrace. Second move down, potential. Back to the roadmap line. CLS. Beautiful. CG. Hitting its head on the top. Watch for the return to the roadmap line. That may be what it needs to be able to go higher again. Looking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Might need a 1, 2, 3. Back in this vicinity before we can go higher again. App 11. Ooh. Holding up really well. Maybe looking at some downside though. That's cool. Super glue. Super glue is such an interesting hydroscopic glue. At least hydroscopic till it hardens. I guess hydroscopic activator. Anyway, ALAB still has potential to go up to 173, but also could retrace back down to 88. INOD. First move down, retrace, potential for his next move down. VGT. Flew close to the sun, watch out. 614. Circle. Guess what? That's a long way down. RKLX, AVAV, watch out for the retrace. STRL, watch out for the retrace. Sezzle, watch out for the retrace. ETN, watch out for the retrace. You kind of get the feeling here we have a lot of room to the roadmap line on a bunch of these. Same story over and over. We were well out at targets, and there's a lot of room in this market to cut out some fluff here. See it over and over and over. AMD's got a long way we can retrace. Caterpillar has a long way to retrace. Look at it. Same pattern over and over. One big rip, barely any retrace in here, way over the roadmap line. Same pattern over and over. All these biggest decliners. Look at that. Same pattern. Same pattern. That one's almost hitting. SMU. SAP. SAP on the NASDAQ. Coming back. Like this one could find support here. Due to the high price, I probably wouldn't trade it. PSIX, watch for the retrace. No, watch for the retrace. ARKW, watch for the retrace. POCOR. Ooh. And it has overlap. So first move down. This is probably an A, B, C, 3-wave up. Continuation. This one's probably going lower low. AMZZ, 2x long on Amazon hood. Down there, Flutter. Watch for the retrace. SMH, watch for the retrace. Oracle, watch for the retrace. Same pattern over and over. XLY. We're close to testing that support right there. We get below it though. Something further to the downside. DPST. As I mentioned yesterday, we have a commercial real estate problem. Probably heavier in the regional banks than it is the big banks. Watch out. ETHU, potential to crush. Back down to the roadmap line. QBTX. Newegg. Well, that one's holding up really well. Seems to be some hype there after the reverse split. With a 20, okay, so divide this by 20. So really, we're just back at $3 pre-split. That's pretty bad. And that used to be $10 pre-split. MDB. Wait, $10? No, wait. $10. No, not $10. 30 divided by 20. Used to be. Can't math. Math is hard. $10 was $290. 200. Yeah, $200. $10. 30. Wow. 1,200. Yeah, that one used to be like $60. Golly. And they did a reverse split. So this is becoming a dumpster fire, this chart right here. Reverse split. All the price actions down. They are bad at managing stock price. Yeah, MDB. I've been holding that resistance is here and support's down here. And we may need that one more push down. So I would be cautious chasing MDB. Like I just in the roadmap line, that's a perfect place to get continuation lower. Right there. Yeah. Yeah, when your cop brother who has, almost never dabbles in the stock market is like, hey, I get this hot tip for you. It's a warning sign. Wow, Generac. Probably going to push on out to 214 before we actually get the retrace. B like Bloom Energy. That hit the targets. Watch for the retrace. COHR, watch for the retrace. Core weave. Well, we know how this is going to end eventually. CRDO. Watch for the retrace. One big move up. We see that over and over. One big move up. Carvana. Reach for the stars. Probably got to come back down. Retest 291. Possibly down to the roadmap line, just underneath it. BWTX. I'm kind of skipping the leverage stuff. Watch out for the big retrace here. Watch out for the big retrace here. Back down here, 200 AXP. Well, we're there. Does it hold it, or do we go even deeper? That's the question. Like that. Reasonable, but not, the proportion's not great here. Fair. We might dip just a little lower. Fair. First move down, retrace. That could be an ABC. Absolutely beautiful correction. Take us higher. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this actually. So first move up, retrace. 4, 5. No overlap. 1, 2, 3. In the vicinity of the 4. That could be a 1. That could be a 2. That makes the 3 really big. This is why I do this. Look at this next upside move. First move, second move, third move. And if we get bullish up here. And 4, 5. Remember, 1. You just take that and put it up here from whatever pullback we get. And that'd be the finishing move. That looks pretty spicy right there. I like that. I might have to buy a share or two just to see if that works. At that size, buying 100 shares, that's a little rich for pretty much all of my accounts. But buying a couple shares, I could do that. Let's see. Is there a leverage ticker? Probably not, but let's see. Yeah, let's see one. Yeah, I don't see any leverage on AXP. I like that though. Rubric, probably coming back to the roadmap line. Elf Beauty, first move down, retrace. Watch for that. Move right there. That one could also be turning pretty bullish. Like that maybe yeah, I don't. Never mind. I don't know where I was going with that. SD Lauder may need to retrace to the roadmap line. Finish the gap fill. AMUU. WSC. Turn down off the roadmap line. Watch out for a lower low. Target down around 20. FAS. Back to the roadmap line. If we can hold it, good, but the leverage tickers tend to outperform to the downside, so be careful. SLXN, not touching it. Garbage. Absolute garbage. worse garbage than Newegg. VA, working on that retrace I talked about. Probably come back down 160, 170, 180, somewhere in there. Back below the roadmap line. So it's a little bit challenging. Where's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It's possible we just bottom right here around 190. Possible we bottom higher than I expect. Turn more bullish than I expect. It would look best with a deeper retrace, but it might just find a support right there. That low, that high, that first move up. See that first move up right there? Between here and here. Projected off of that. Potential 4. Look at that. Almost perfect. That makes me think that now 2s generally, so this would be a 1 complete. 2s generally bottom in the vicinity of 4, but they also like to hit the 50 and 618. So that's the 3 targets here. That one, that one, that one. That's the tiered support. You may be like, well, JT, how do you remember all these rules and guidelines and blah, 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 blah? You have to remember, I started doing Elliott Wave before I was a guru. Before I hit it big as a guru, I've been doing it for 4 years. So now that I've been a guru since 2021, 4 more years. So we're looking at, I'm getting close to a decade of doing Elliott Wave. This is like what I do every day. Try to go through charts and figure out the count. Look at thousands of charts every year. I think last year I looked at 40,000 charts, according to TradingView. 40,000 charts. Think about that a minute. That's a lot. Average, we get like 240 trading days. 40,000 charts. It's like 160 charts a day. I mean, today, probably going to exceed that. GE, watch for the retrace. SMR, watch for the retrace. Oklo, watch for the retrace. Capital One, watch for the retrace to come back to the roadmap line. Hoi, Rocks, HWM, Hornet, watch for the retrace. Anybody getting the picture here? IWM. Potential to bounce off of that to come back up to a 618 before we take the next leg down. So we have made a potential first move down. We could see a bounce up into this zone before we get the next move down. Since this is potentially the B wave to that high, this C wave down should be more impulsive. So that wave 1, wave 2, 3 should be pretty vicious and fast and nasty. This is why I have my hedge on IWM and not on SPY or QQQ at this point. Google may come back down. USD may come back down. LMN bouncing off the roadmap line from the bottom. Be careful. That can go lower low if we get through support. Build our first source. Be careful. Reversal is not yet confirmed. A 2x on Oklo. Abercrombie Fitch. after the crazy move back here in 2023, 24, big correction 2020 into 2025, bouncing off the bottom of the roadmap line. Is this the bottom, and is this the reversal yet? First move up, retrace. Trend is down, correction, continuation, or was this the bottom and this is the first move up, retrace, and we can build something more bullish? I don't know yet. TTD, unclear, so I'm not getting involved. TTD has this giant gap down we're just scratching the bottom of. Watch out for... Gonna have to work through that. MU. Come on, baby. Hit the roadmap line. Yeah. I was close. Close enough for me. Remain bullish, but waiting for the bounce. Now that does concern me slightly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 without overlap. Very interested in what happens next. If we maintain, very interested in this. What happens? Do we turn down? Not good. Breakthrough. That's good. Big picture. That could be the first move down, the retrace, and the second move down. I like the potential for the higher, but that 5 wave in there does bring me some concern. ANET. Looking for that to pop on up. Could retrace back to here, but the upside's the target at this point. We've kind of confirmed. Well, we came into that gap down though. It's the only caveat for this being bullish is that freaking gap down. Come on. Right here. IWY. Watch for the retrace. UPST. Watch for the retrace. ARM. Watch for the retrace. Oh, back to the roadmap line. Watch for that to get deeper though. First move down. Second move down. There's potential that goes on up from here. We have the downtrend highs. Marvell, sit on the roadmap line. No clear anything. This is starting to look more bullish, but we've got to get through this gap down. EMAT, back to the roadmap line. Can we hold it and turn higher? 206, crisp. Not touching it, but there was the potential path forward. HIMS. Shoot, man. 84 on the upside if we're going to do it. W. Wayfair never has what I need. This could be the bottom right here. That may have been it. I'll have to see if it can break through this line up here, back test, and go higher. That would be a reversal. Net. Looks like we pushed up to the target area. Watch for the retrace. C limited. Watch for that retrace back to 137. CCJ. Watch for that retrace. FTAI. Watch for that retrace. PLUT. And retrace, retrace, retrace. Ingersoll Rand. Baba. Retrace. There's a lot of tickers on here. Shopify. That may find support right there. I'm actually interested in this one. confirm roadmap line. But that has the setup going out to 95. In Morgan Stanley, might retrace the roadmap line, but 150 is the upside target. TER. Overlap. Rambus. Apps. ABVX. Yikes. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, health technology, PLTR. Watch for the retrace. TMDX. Potential bounce here. If we can break above the prior high at 145, there's your target. If we break below the roadmap line, there's your target. Kicks. Wow. That's getting whacked. So if we can hold here and turn back higher, that would be bullish. But if we push on down, that's a diagonal down, and it could lead to a longer, more prolonged correction. LPG. Retrace the roadmap line could be bullish here. First move up, retrace. Unclear. That holding there could lead to more upside. Upside resistance sitting just above us here. SYM. Yeah, 60. I expect that to retest the prior high. Block. Transformation data sharing. Triple top situation. Hitting resistance. Be careful. QLD. Be careful. Roadmap line. Dell. If we can push through the zone, upside targets, back to the roadmap line for support. KTOS just churning here, holding up really well in the face of this. Decker's probably going to push lower low. Twilio probably come back to the roadmap line, 110. NBIS back to the roadmap line. Rocket Lab back to the roadmap line. SMCI back to the roadmap line. AMSC, watch for that to retrace violently, but 69 next upside target. Texas Instruments. Ooh. Not holding the roadmap line. Caution, caution, caution. Red alert. Support down here at 165 area. XYZ. Support at 67. AVL. 2x long on AVGO. STX. Vape. Probably coming back down to 10. Kava. Kava. So we bounced off the roadmap line. Be careful. Support down here. STX. Hold up really well. Next upside, 194, and then 260 above that. EWY. Watch for that to turn back down. That dog. Roadmap line support at 126. Galaxy. Roadmap line support down here. 19. PDD. And that's a downtrending lower highs on Temu. Crocs. Couldn't break out. 3-wave up. Resistance. Deep retrace. Try again later. Man, it's on my potentially bullish list, but not doing potentially bullish things yet. 3 waves, not bullish. Starting to indicate we might need one more touch down here. One more flush. That's what this thing. That was nice. One. Then we probably need that. Then we can start the bullish. Like, this is a support zone, but it's not get off the mat, right? It's like, oh, Adrian, can't get off the mat. LYB, watch for our dip. UAL, come on, baby. Just needed to get a little bit lower here. A little bit lower now. And setups that were set up for today. Clean harbors. It's interesting. There's one of my clients does business with them, I think. I didn't know they were public. That's why I was like, oh. Gave me pause. That's potentially bullish for a 242. Very fast little bounces. I'm not fond of those fast bounces. They didn't trigger. They probably haven't triggered this because that one did. And that one did too. That one did too. There you go. These are the upside targets here. And I think I just deleted something. 25. MLPX. Not fond of that. Just grind on the roadmap line. 63.50 and then TYL. $601 upset target there. Wow, look at the profit factor on that one. Holy bananas. Dang, go. Spicy. Remember, past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. And SPX came within a few points of the low. So bias for the day. Looking for this correction to be done. I think we need a bounce, but where do we bounce? Do we bounce here? Or do we come on down? There's potential. We bounce here and then develop some more downside. So 63.45 is kind of tell. If we can get up through that on the cash, it'd be positive. If we don't, may see more downside. Be careful out there. Money you save may be your own. The account you save may be your own. Have a plan in place. We'll see what happens. Be careful out there. See you on Monday. Same bat time, same bat channel, 9:15. We'll hunt for opportunities. I'll be in Discord. If you need something, just tag me.